Oh, let's all gather around, it's that time of year where we dress in the past, it's rather sincere. We'll celebrate the blues and jazzy tunes with a wink and a nod beneath the full moon. It's Black History Month, let's spin the records again. Swing to the beat as we pretend to comprehend.
I thought the world would turn slower, not as fast as it does. Conservative hearts were steady, sure, and just because. A simpler time of values, when right was what it was. It seems like those days vanished with just a fleeting pause.
Right-wing dreams of yesterday, steady in the fray, keeping timeless traditions, leading all the way.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
I'm glowing in the night, shining like a star in this atomic age, a brighter by far. Untouchable energy, it's a glowing affair. Ready, ready, I'll take you everywhere. I'm untouchable now, feel the power in the air. Radioactive rhythm, but sense without care. Electric and alive in this atomic embrace. Unstoppable now in this glowing space.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, through thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery with liberty.
In our little town so serene, where the grass is green and air so clean, we gather round the table every night. Joyful days, oh, once I end, with values passed from generations past, living life with love that'll surely last. As the city lights look bright, we hold to our roots tight. In our hearts the same old choirs, guided by the good old days. Sharing moments with friends always divine. Working hard for what we seek, respecting each word we speak, holding dear to our family ties underneath these nostalgic skies. As the city lights so bright, got too tight, in our hearts the same old fire. Yeah, oh yeah. We sway with every change of time, but in our hearts old love and soul that may be in our heart, getting like a tornado in this fast-paced world we can fight. Traditions keep our hearts going wild, but you'll find in our hearts simple ways, we got it by the good old days.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Culturama, where on this show we like to reclaim the spirit of traditional Americana back into the zeitgeist. And that's what we do in this show. We like to talk about politics, culture, and hopefully reclaim some of those traditional elements that we have lost so long ago with the induction of postmodernist theory, critical theory, whether that be critical race theory or critical gender theory, and just the overall deconstruction of traditional Western and American American culture. And so on this show, what we like to do is to have those necessary discussions to maintain our integrity as a nation, not just as a people, but as a culture. And I want to thank everyone that did decide to join today already. I have a lot to cover today. I know I say this with every episode, but ever since Trump has entered office, it's now been just a couple weeks, every day there's something new. I mean, like people have saying, this is one heck of a start of a new year. 2025 is wild, and there have been already a lot of ups and downs, and we are obviously examining at every step of the process how the Trump administration is doing, as well as covering other topics related to the United States politics, conservative politics, and culture. But it's really difficult to do that without recognizing what the Trumpian legacy is doing. And whether or not you're a fan of Trump, it is necessary to talk about, because as we will see in real time, it is shaping American culture quite a bit. And a big part of that is also done by Elon Musk's contributions and his heading of DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency. And so I will be talking about that. And like I titled this stream, DOGE is striking back against the empire, the establishment empire that has been, well, quite honestly, abusing taxpayer dollars. And that's really going to be the focus of this stream, as well as many other things covered in the news. But I do really want to focus on what Elon Musk's vision is for DOGE, and what DOGE has managed to uncover so far, just a couple weeks into this new presidential administration. But before I get to that, I always like to interact with the chat and see who has managed to come with the stream. And I already saw a lot of familiar faces in this stream. And it's really good to see how this show is continually growing, getting a new audience. And if you want to help in the fight of getting a new audience for Culturama, I highly suggest that you share and like this stream. Whether you want to share the link to Rumble. Of course, I interact the most with Rumble. But you can also do on Twitter as well. Retweet the stream if you're watching it on Twitter. Like it. Comment. I love to read your comments. I love to interact with my fans and fans of the show, and I always do my best to do so. And also I always do my best to answer your guys' questions, which comes to my next point. If you have a very big question you want to ask me, or a comment, and I may not always get to it in the chat, but if you want me to be able to engage with you directly, send in a Rumble rant, and if you do, I will play this sound effect.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
After I play that sound effect, I will read your comment off. And that's pretty much the rules of watching this stream. And of course, once in a while, I'll plug in the Culturama Grift Shop merchandise, which, big news, you guys. We have new merchandise in the shop. And in addition, we also have new Unleash the Beast merchandise. And for those that don't know, that's related to my dog. And I have had an audience ask over and over and over again to have Unleash the Beast merchandise. We got it, everyone. We have one merch drop that has happened in the Grift Shop. That relates to Leo, and we're going to have more coming in the next few days. So I think you guys, some of the people in the chat are going to be very excited about that. But I wanted to say hello first before I continue. I saw Robbie Thurman in the chat 10 minutes ago. Hello, Robbie. It's very good to see you. We also have Quest Fanning in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, Quest Fanning. Grizz Cheese is in the chat as well. Very good to see you, Grizz Cheese. So this person on YouTube writes, I still don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. It has a flower emoticon and others, but they say every day something big is happening with Trump. Hard to keep up. Exactly. There's a lot to cover. So I'm going to do my best. I like to isolate my interest in one really big story. So that's pretty much what I try to do with the show here. Let's see who else. We have AP for Liberty, of course. The usuals are in the chat. And if you're a longtime lurker, feel free to, drop in a hello. How are you doing in the live chat? I will do my best to get to it. All right. Oh, and people are talking about coffee as well in the chat. And for those that don't know, Culturama does have our very own coffee brand, which I will wheel out later on in this stream. I always like to bring out and grift my items and merchandise in the stream later on. But in this part of the stream, I'm just saying hello to all my friends and supporters of the show. Hello, Row House. He writes, I will be participating with rants a bit later. Thank you so much, Row House. Nomad John has also just entered the chat on YouTube. YouTube. I love how that guy sings so surreal. Are you talking about the AI music that I play in the background before I come on in the chat? I like how he sings as well. Rowhouse asks, today is the day you can go on a little longer, correct? Yes, Rowhouse. Today, on Tuesdays and on Saturdays, if I decide to stream on Saturdays, which I have started to do, I can stream as long as I want. Thursdays are the days I have to end the stream at 7 p.m. because we have another show come on after mine called The Liberty Tonight Show. But today I can go on a bit longer, and we already have... Here comes the money! We already have
Here we go.
Money Steelbringer. Thank you so much, Steelbringer. Steelbringer writes $5. Thank you so much for the donation, Steelbringer. It's a beautiful username. The only problem is I can't understand it. All I can say is good luck, live in peace. Are you referring to that YouTube username that I cannot pronounce with the emoticons, or are you referring to something else? But I will take your word for it. Indeed, a beautiful username. All I can say is good luck, live in peace. Steelbringer, I hope you live in peace. I almost said live in beast. I keep thinking about the Unleash the Beast merch. I hope you live in peace as well. Thank you for that clarification, Steelbringer. Okay, well, like I said, we have a lot to cover today, mainly to do with Elon Musk's goals having to do with DOGE. And DOGE has revealed a lot of pertinent information about where our tax dollars are going. And I don't know if you will be surprised about what agencies like or organizations like USAID have been using our money for. I don't know if you'll be surprised, but you will be sorely disappointed. So we're going to be covering that. DOGE is also going in on other organizations. For instance, the Small Business Administration, they're threatening to look into that one, and that's going to reveal a lot of, I think, shady practices that are going on as well. But we also, big news, Mexico and Canada folds amidst a potential trade/tariff war. And we're going to be talking about that. Of course, I have to talk about that as well. I know a lot of people have, but, we live in a really important time in American history. And I don't have to say that to you for you to understand that. But never before in a while, in the last few generations, have we seen a president like Donald Trump. It really harkens back to the days of McKinley, where, we did have strong leaders to actually look up to. And Trump is really tapping into that. Teddy Roosevelt, another one that I think he's really trying to tap into. And in some cases, you can say FDR as well. He is tapping in, and you could maybe pose as being a bit authoritarian, but it is also strong. And what the United States have lacked for so long is a strong leader. And that's what we have been craving and needing. And this is why I think people are responding so strongly to it. On the right side of the aisle, of course, people are happy. But have you been seeing what's going on with the left side of the aisle? I know in last stream, we looked into the DNC a little bit. There was a lot of funny clips there, and we poked fun at the demoralization of the left. I've talked about that quite a bit on my show. The left is obviously quite demoralized, yes. But have you guys seen what's going on Reddit and how the demoralization campaign is going on there? Well, if you haven't seen the comments about some of the comments that have been shared on Reddit, I'm about to reveal that to you. Because it's getting to a point where it's a little sad. It's like, if you are a bully and you kick someone down and you kick them at some point, you just, or even if you're retaliating back at a bully, you just can't help but feel bad. You can't just keep kicking them when they're down, because these people are they've lost their beside themselves. Some of them are threatening to, as the young kids say, Minecraft themselves. I don't know if I can say that S word. They want to take their own lives because of what's happening. And it's not funny. It's not funny. It's very sad. These people have mental issues. But alas, I did want to cover some Reddit comments about that. But before I do, we have another donation coming from
Here we go.
I saw the Rowhouse. Thank you so much for $5. You guys are amazing.
Dollar.
Rowhouse writes, let's see, Rowhouse, what is your comment? Daniela, do you tend to be a very fiscal conservative? Spending is your issue, or social conservatism? Are you equally conservative on both? Very good question, Row House. I would say both. I used to consider myself more of just a fiscal conservative. Of course, my political journey has more or less been conservative. But I've flirted around with various ideologies and various ideas. But for the most part, I was conservative generally. For a while, I did consider myself only fiscally conservative. I still consider myself right-leaning libertarian. But, and also, as far as my conception of human nature is concerned, I would say that I prefer a more hands-off approach as far as government is concerned, especially with social issues. However, lately, seeing what the left has accomplished in changing our culture and society, I've come to the point to realize that, like, you cannot have a completely hands-off approach to culture. And you cannot legislate culture. You can't legislate specific social beliefs and mores. At least I think that's moral. But what you can do is incentivize certain behaviors, and, you know, try to prevent other ones through legislation. And so I do believe in the incentivization of positive behaviors and beliefs. However, I do think that seeing the degeneracy of our culture come to the point where it has, particularly Western culture, this is mainly why I like to talk about issues about it, like I do on my Substack and so forth, but also on this show, Culturama, hence the name, Culturama in it. But that's partly why I got inspired in starting the show, is because you just can't turn your back away. You can't turn away from the utmost degeneracy that you have been seeing, whether it's in media campaigns or whether it's happening in your backyard, in your own neighborhood with your friends, or in public school, where particularly in certain parts of the United States, they're pushing utmost like degenerate behaviors and beliefs, especially as it pertains to sexuality, to children. And so I do believe that now, to answer your question briefly, Row House, I would say both. The answer is yes to both. Okay. Okay, I want to get to these Reddit comments that I've been teasing. Okay, I'm just going to jump into it. Anyways, let me use this Stream Deck accordingly. So this is the tweet that I wanted to draw attention to before we dive into the really big brain topics of this show. Redditors are on r/what is our plan are asking themselves, quote, how far are you willing to go? Many are saying they are ready to die. Let's read some of these. So, how far are you willing to go? This person says, I am willing to die as long as I'm not alone. I'm not going into anything. Hold on a second. There we go. This person writes, I'm willing to die as long as I'm not alone. I'm not going into anything as a lone wolf. I need a leader, but I will follow. Also, I'm not willing to kill. How far are you willing to go? I'm old enough and my life has sucked, so I'm down for anything. These are people responding to the present administration that we are facing. They're willing to die. Not consciously willing to kill, but sometimes my temper takes over. We need a welfare check on Redditors. I don't think Redditor... Do you guys remember... Hold on, let me read some of these comments. I honestly would take these threats seriously the moment they're able to get out of their basements. They're a true danger, writes this person. Yes, the fact of the matter is these people may, you know, claim that they are going into a certain jokerification moment right now due to the present administration and the serious administrative changes that are happening in the United States. But let's be real, these people haven't ventured outside of their basements for quite some time. But these are our opponents, everyone, if you want to frame them this way. I like to look at a more holistic approach. I don't, you know, even though I am conservative, clearly my show is conservative leaning, I do want to bring people with different viewpoints on this show. It's called Culturama. It's not conservative. It's just conservative Rama or liberal Rama. It's culture. It's the zeitgeist. It's both sides, right? So I'm willing to try to understand where they're coming from, but it's very difficult to do that when, first of all, this person has an anime profile picture, so already knocked off like 50 points for me on that one. But I do want to understand where they're coming from, but it's very difficult to do so when you have people so exceptionally sheltered like Redditors. Has anyone in the chat ever experienced like actually engaging with and you could say out of the closet Redditor, are they really as bad in person as they are online? Reddit is a whole nother thing. I personally try using Reddit. I've tried using Reddit many times, and I'm just going to be real. I can't use Reddit. I don't like not only for the people, obviously, I don't have to explain that, but it's the entire layout of the website. I absolutely want to tear my hair out when I use it. I hate it. I've tried using it. It can be useful for certain topics, but like if you want to research a certain topic, but certainly not for me. I cannot do it. Totalitarian rights, yes, and it's worse than you could ever imagine. Indeed. My biological father is Steelbringer. Is your biological father a Redditor? My condolences. Someone asked a question about Leo, and I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second. Rowhouse writes, on the way to Leo coming out, guys. Leo is the joke, the lore is that Leo is not straight. So Steelbringer, your father has TDS and EDS. Bad. I am very sorry to hear that. Man, Thanksgiving must not be the best time. Steelbringer, my apologies. I have family members like that. Perhaps not in my immediate family, but I understand the pain when you have to deal with family that have TDS. Thankfully, it hasn't been too awkward for me, but it's tough if that's your own father. That's rough, buddy. I'm sorry, Steelbringer. Stay strong. Look, you don't have to love Trump. You know, I get it. He is not the most palatable figure, but you do have to admit that he is making some serious changes in our political environment right now that I think are positive. Specifically, the DEI thing, even though it's just, it's just isolated to the public sector. I think it's a huge step forward into hopefully positively changing culture for the better. The question is, will it remain this way after he leaves office, after the next 4 years? Obviously, it's too early to be concerned about that, but I think it's such a big win. I just want to keep it that way. So seeing how people were acting in the DNC, I can only imagine, though, that the Democrats and the leftists do not have a very useful nor a successful strategy moving forward. They are still focusing on identity politics, gender, race, and I just honestly think that your average salt-of-the-earth American just doesn't give a crap about... I'm not going to swear in this show. Even though it's an evening show, it's still a family show. Okay? I'm going to try not to swear, but they do not give a rat's bottom about what race and identity you are. Okay? It's about the housing market. It's mainly the economy, the housing market, the job market, some cases the dating market, I guess. That's more of a culture question. About the grocery prices, they do not care about identity politics. Not only do they not care about identity politics, but constantly bringing attention to the identity politics is, in a twisted way, going to make people more prejudiced against other demographics of people. That's just the fact of the matter. The more attention you draw to it, the more people are going to pay attention to it. And so it's just an ongoing losing strategy. It's on a downward spiral, and I don't know why Democrats continually want to do that. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens within the next 4 years, but I really do think that's a major win, and I hope it stays that way. Anyway, oh my goodness, my hair looks very frizzy on stream. My apologies. Or a rat's bottom. Yes, Nomad John, no one gives a rat's bottom. But let me pull up the next few stories. I will be right back, you guys, and if you stay tuned even longer, I will reveal the merch that you guys were all asking for. The Leo merch.
Monster kill.
I will be pulling that up as well. And also, as part of a feature of this show, if we get $50 in donations, I will be bringing out my dysgenic canine friend. For those that are unaware, I do have a dog who is 4 generations inbred. He is like a circus act, and I like to bring him on in a pertinent outfit for everyone to enjoy and lay and feast their eyes upon him. But it does cost a pretty penny for the ransom to pay him out of his cage so I can bring him in. I'm kidding. He's not really in a cage. I need to reiterate that. My dog has never seen a cage in his life. But you know what I'm trying to say here. And I'll be bringing him out. And to do that, I also have this Unleash the Beast meter.
Monster kill.
So once you reach the $50 mark, I will be playing this sound effect. I hope that is not too loud. I'm so sorry. And once that sound effect plays, I will be bringing him out. Anyways, like I said, those are the rules for the stream. I will be right back. I'm going to be pulling up the next few stories, so just stay tuned, everyone. And we will be talking about a variety of things, particularly focusing on what Elon Musk has done with DOGE. Stay tuned, everyone. I will be right back. Let me play you guys your favorite commercial break. All right. I'll be right back.
Well, here comes Danny Yellow like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the 4 olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have Glad You Came Out and I'm so happy that you're queer in the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hafer doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty Love.
All right, we are back, everyone that's watching. Welcome to Culturama, where on this show we are trying to reclaim the zeitgeist, and what better way to reclaim the zeitgeist than to talk about what DOGE is doing. The Department of Government Efficiency, everyone, making big moves in American government and what other organizations are doing. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the discourse surrounding the Department of Government Efficiency, but it has been revealed that Elon Musk is not just spearheading the organization himself into completely reorienting and changing the infrastructure in American government and how we spend our money. But he is also getting young men involved between the ages of, I've heard a range between the ages of 19 and 24. And for some reason, this is a conversation piece as far as DOGE is concerned. Now, you may wonder, why is that? Are we just completely used to old folks running everything in our country? It seems like Elon Musk is a visionary and that he understands that young men have what it takes to completely reorient the infrastructure of our country. But how can you tell? How do you determine the competency level of these individuals? Well, one of the ways to tell a person's or a young man's competency level is perhaps to see whether or not he likes the Roman Empire. Exactly, I've said it. This is a story that I'm talking about. You guys may have already heard about it, but this young man, Luke Ferrator, he's helping Elon Musk and DOGE, but he's also very much obsessed with the Roman Empire. Apparently, these young men are sleeping overnight in their offices and helping work with DOGE and helping the entire organization function accordingly and doing what it does best, seeing how our money is being completely burned by establishment politicians. What I wrote here: call to replace DEI hiring practices with the assessing of the frequency at which individuals think about the touchstones of Western civilization, i.e. the Roman Empire. It seems like a good measure of competency. This is the individual that we have here. He's working at DOGE. Let's take a listen.
So I've always been interested in history.
So he's a first in the world, by the way, to decode a passage on an ancient scroll. This guy is like 22, I think.
I'm not good at it, but
we have been told by I was gonna say the boomer class, the boomer generation, that we have all the time in the world, and that's just simply not true. If you want to discover something if you want to discover something and make major changes in a field, you can do that. Actually, you can be like Pascal and do great things when you're 15, 16 years old, or in this individual's case, I think he's like 22 or 23. You can actually do things, actually. You don't have to waste your 20s away. Not saying that those of us that haven't accomplished anything like this major in your 20s haven't accomplished anything. I'm a firm believer, especially in generations today, that people are late bloomers. But if you do have the capacity to do something like this in your 20s, you should still try and do it. It's always striving ourselves towards excellence is what Americans should be doing. Contrary to what Vivek says, Americans actually are excellent, and we certainly do have the capacity to do so.
I was always kind of into that sort of stuff, read a lot about the Roman Empire and things. And one day I was just listening to a podcast back in March. It was with Matt Friedman. He just kind of got on the podcast, explained like there are these burnt up scrolls that were buried in the Pompeii eruption. No one knows how to read them. But some professors have created CT scans of these scrolls, and they uploaded the data on the internet as a competition to see who could find writing inside of these scrolls. And when I heard that, I was just immediately like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool project. I have to work on this. I just went home from work that day at the end of the day, and I've been working on it evenings and weekends ever since. I run most of the things from my laptop. It's just a normal MacBook, don't worry. But then I've just got like 5 surplus computers in here. This is what I do most of my work from. Great school and just the University of Nebraska as a whole has provided.
Anyways, I'm not going to be watching this entire video, but I think you kind of have the idea what kind of young men that we are dealing with here that are working with DOGE, and this is why I titled the stream Revenge of the Nerds, because all it takes is just a couple of nerds. No H-1B hires, no migrants from a different country, no DEI hires that clearly lack the competency to do the task. All you need is just a couple of nerds and a couple of guys that read about the Roman Empire, and you already are heading one of the most powerful organizations in the United States at the moment. Here's a Wired article explaining what exactly is going on here, and I wanted to read that with you guys live, so let's take a look at this. The young, inexperienced engineers aiding Elon Musk's government takeover. Engineers between the ages of 19 and 24, most linked to Musk's companies, are playing a key role as he seizes control of federal infrastructure. Okay. Are you guys ready for Wired's take on this? Elon Musk's takeover of the federal government infrastructure is ongoing, and at the center of things is a coterie of engineers who are barely out of college. Most have connections to Musk already, which, understandable. And at least 2 have connections to Musk's longtime associate, Peter Thiel. These guys are pretty plugged in already. A co-founder and chair of the analytics firm and government contractor Palantir, who have long expressed opposition to democracy, according to how this article is framing it. Of course, they have to set the stage. Big media does that. Democracy is the end-all, be-all of all justice. Anyway, continuing forward, Wired has identified 6 young men, all apparently between the ages of 19 and 24, according to the public databases. Their online presences and other records, who have little to no government experience, are now playing critical roles in Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency. It's I don't know how it's so-called, but that's what it is, DOGE. The DOGE project, tasked by executive order with, quote, modernizing federal technology and software to maximize government efficiency and productivity, of which they have primarily accomplished looking over where our tax dollars are going and how the government and federal employees are utilizing public money and towards what programs are they putting them in. And what DOGE has already found is that shocker, our money gets wasted quite a bit, which we'll be looking at later on in the stream. The engineers, by the way, let me tell you, a lot of the programs that are funded, especially across seas through organizations like USAID, not too pretty. A lot of them are like, we've touched about it in my previous stream, but let's just say pro-LGBTQIA plus campaigns across seas and countries where they may not even know what being a transgender individual is. They're educating the world about the wonders and beauties of being a transgender individual. Anyway, moving forward. The engineers all hold nebulous job titles within DOGE, and at least one appears to be working as a volunteer. Okay. The engineers they're named Akash Baba, Edward Korestein, Luke Ferritor, which is a young man that we have just watched the video of, Gautier Cole Killian, and Gavin Kilger, and Ethan Shotran. I apologize for butchering these names. None have responded to requests for comment, obviously. The 6 men are part of a broader project of Musk allies assuming key government positions. Already Musk's lackeys, including more senior staff from Tesla, XAI, and the Boring Company, have taken control of the Office of Personal Management, or OPM, which we have talked about in my last stream on Saturday. We are fundamentally experiencing a coup, everyone. A soft coup, you could say. And the General Services Administration, or the GSA, have gained access to the Treasury Department's payment system, potentially allowing him to access a vast range of sensitive information about tens of millions of citizens, businesses, and more. And let me tell you, the establishment is scared. On Sunday, CNN reported that DOGE personnel attempted to improperly access classified information and security systems at the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, like I mentioned. Top USAID security officials who thwarted the attempt to subsequently put on leave. Now, for those that don't know what USAID is, it's an agency that essentially utilizes our taxpayer funds, but it funds specific programs and projects across seas in various countries to originally, the main idea is to promote more humanitarian missions across seas in various countries, particularly third world peripheral nations in aiding, for instance, or helping in the process of aiding poverty or perhaps, severe hunger that the country is experiencing, cleanliness, providing perhaps plumbing and things like that the country may need to help those people in need. But as we will come to find out, I did find an article for the stream today that shows that actually, Yes, that's the original intent of this agency, but they have been using an exorbitant amount of money, like I'd mentioned, for campaigns, politically and ideologically motivated campaigns to promote DEI in third world countries, to promote campaigns that are pushing LGBTQIA, like for instance, just goals in general. Like for instance, they paid for certain drag races to occur in one country. There was another one where they put towards, I think, $500,000, I believe it was, towards making comics in Peru that had transgender characters in it. Like absolutely nonsensical items like that I don't really see have to do with helping these third worlders survive. I don't honestly think they even care about the LGBTQIA plus plight, or if they care about having DEI hiring practices and policies in their businesses and other organizations and public administrations in those countries. But USAID thinks they do. USAID is also geared towards promoting democracy in various countries, particularly third world nations. And, you know, it's just going towards the gospel in which they preach that democracy is everything. And whether or not you think USAID is a good or bad thing, I think it's actually more neutral than that. Yes, they have done, not anymore, but they have done good things, but it is at our expense, of course. And if we're facing and struggling with certain issues here in our own country, why should we fund other countries? And we clearly are struggling and facing certain issues in our country here. Anyways, I did want to push this next article and read it out for you guys to get a general idea of what's happening. For those that want more context and clarification of what DOGE exactly does, if I haven't explained it enough for you, here's another article outlining what it is that they do. Okay. What is DOGE and what is it doing? Okay, what is DOGE? I apologize for the cancerous website and the ads on here, everyone. What is DOGE? Under an executive order, Trump created a non-governmental agency, so it is an NGO, called DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, that he said would, quote, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies, okay? So, in black and white, this is the goal of DOGE. It's not a branch. It's not a part of the government or federal infrastructure. Okay, it's its own commission. It's its own NGO, separate from the federal government. A lot of people seem to have categorized DOGE as this new federal agency. It's not. It's not its own administration, but it is an NGO separate under executive order that is single-handedly aiming to cut wasteful expenditures and to restructure the bloat of federal agencies that we have been experiencing in American politics already. Okay, let's keep reading here. What is Elon Musk's role in DOGE for people that have been questioning this? Musk is the sole head of DOGE after Ramaswamy, who has left already. The new administration hasn't yet said if Musk will formally join the government as part of his work in DOGE. However, Musk has pledged to cut $2 trillion in government spending to restructure federal agencies with a, quote, mass headcount reductions across the federal bureaucracy. So, like I said, we have been experiencing major bureaucratic bloat, major federal bloat, what some say are the deep state, and parts of it are rather deep and dark. But most of it is just aimed at funding themselves. This is how bureaucracies work. They only want to help themselves and fund themselves, okay, in order to retain its legitimacy. And what normally happens is that they end up utilizing their money in the most inefficient ways. And in some cases, you could even say perpetuate certain problems to retain their legitimacy. And what you end up getting is just a complete waste of money, which, again, like I said, we will come to see. Okay, let's see what else this article can tell us. What are the limits of DOGE? Okay, because DOGE is not an actual government agency, its power is limited. While it can make recommendations on budget cuts, which Trump will listen to, it can't actually do that without congressional approval. Quote, they don't have any authorities. So, yes, DOGE cannot do certain things. This is why it's important to clarify this for you guys, because like I said, there's a lot of overlap that people seem to do, or they conflate DOGE with the federal government, and they're overestimating the sizable power that DOGE can have, or the influence DOGE can have over implementing or affecting certain policies. Okay? It can't do that. What it does is make recommendations, and it reveals, it brings to light certain things that politicians and people in high positions of power don't want you to know about, which we'll come to find out. Okay. These are the boys that are, just to show you, these are the guys that are involved in helping Musk in working in DOGE. This is the Roman Empire guy. Just a bunch of young nerds that just want to make real changes in our world, good for them. Anyway, so Schumer and the Democrat establishment and the establishment in general is panicking. It's panicking with what DOGE so far has done. It has revealed the expenses that USAID has contributed towards, which I will pull up that article a little later to reveal to you guys. But people like Schumer and the rest, there was another video of Ilhan Omar, I hope that I have up here. Maybe I'll pull it up later. But they are panicking because all of a sudden it seems like they do not have control over what's going on here or control over the narrative. For a long time, organizations like USAID was not a topic of discussion at all for the American public, mainstream American public. And all of a sudden it is. Let's take a listen to what Schumer is saying.
But also know this is just the beginning. If DOGE attacks USAID today, then you can be sure they'll move on to another target tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service.
He says it USID. I say USAID, but I don't know if that's a correct way to say it. But I could be. Maybe I'm the wrong one. I feel like USAID makes more sense because it provides aid to foreign countries.
Or the IRS target tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service, or the IRS, or even the Social Security Administration. They could be next.
Good.
Also know this is just the beginning. If DOGE attacks...
So Schumer is saying, well, if DOGE cuts USAID, it might be the IRS or the Postal Service next, or intelligence agencies. Based? I think that's okay. I think if we cut the IRS at its knees, it wouldn't be. I don't think too many people would be mad at that. Wholly based. This is the actual reaction that people have had to what Schumer said.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be the Postal Service or the IRS.
Exactly. That's the real reaction that everyone's experiencing. How out of touch are these people if they think that saying that exposing or cutting the IRS is going to incite fear and dread amongst the American public? And DOGE has just recently announced that it is going into examining the U.S. Small Business Administration, or the SBA. Okay, the U.S. Small Business Administration, or the SBA, has granted the Department of Government Efficiency access to, quote, all SBA systems, according to PBS. This includes access to HR practices, and contact and payment systems, okay? And before you guys question whether or not this is a necessary task, let me tell you it is. We do not even have a close idea of the shady business practices that is going on behind the scenes of the U.S. Small Business Administration, okay? And how people completely abuse the system to navigate funds across channels. Some would even say very unethically. Hold on a second. Let me go back to the chat here. All right. So, and let me see. I did have another video I wanted to play for you guys. If we have time, I will have to jump into a commercial break, and I'll pull it up for you guys. But Aaron James 001 in the chat. Welcome to the chat, Aaron James. It's very good to see you. He writes, the USAID stands for the United States Agency for International Development. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but yes, it's the CIA's play money. Exactly. The USAID, I wonder if their website's still down. Hold on. Is their website still down? No, it's not down any longer. Earlier over the weekend, the US... Hold on. Is this their website? This is USA.gov. Hold on a second. Can I find... Over the weekend, USAID, their website was down, and I wanted to see if it's still down. Yeah, okay. Nope. Here we go. So there looks like their website's back up, everyone. We're back in the business. The U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, under the purview of the U.S. Department of State. Over the weekend, this website was shut down, so I wonder what happened. But, yeah, it looks like it's still up. But yes, a lot of shady practices in terms of where the money goes. I completely agree. Oh my goodness, Steelbringer, did you do a thing? Steelbringer,
here we go.
Gifted membership subs. Thank you so much, Steelbringer. That is very kind of you. I really Thank you so much, Steelbringer. That is very, very kind of you. And that also goes toward the Leo Fund. So.
Monster kill.
Like I said, if we get $50 in donations today, I will be bringing Leo out. And also, you guys want to stay tuned for a little later, because I have wonderful news. We have Unleash the Beast merch. We have Leo merch on the Culturama shop, and I'll be revealing that to you guys here a little later. But I did want... That's the sound effect. All right. But, that's my dog. There's screaming, but whistles innocently. But yeah, stay tuned for me showing you the merchandise. But I did want to bring in more articles about the USAID situation, because I already played that clip of Chuck Schumer whining about how DOGE is shutting down USAID. And I wanted to do a little bit more of a deep dive in what USAID exactly is and what's happening there, and some of the rather questionable projects that they have been funding for the last few years. So I'm going to be pulling those up, and then afterwards I will be reviewing new merchandise on the Culturama shop. Alrighty, so I will be right back. You guys stay tuned, and I'll be pulling up my next articles.
So bright, ideals flash in the night. Opponents stand side by side. Soldiers collide, nowhere to hide. This meet dreams in the street. History on repeat. Our world's in a spin. Let the future begin.
Shining like a star in this atomic age, brighter by far. Untouchable energy, it's a glowing affair. Ready and ready, I'll take you everywhere. I'm untouchable now, filled with power in the air. Radioactive rhythm, but stands without care. Electric and alive in this atomic embrace. Unstoppable now in this glowing space.
Heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty's throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. promises of old will keep. As the donkeys start to weep, stars and stripes forever sway. In the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
With a flagpole planted firm,
golden dreams that won't decay,
marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now in the heart of every town. We've got the power now. The Reds are going down.
Reds are crawling like bugs in the night. Freedom's calling, gotta rise and fight. We'll stomp 'em out with all our might. Watch 'em scatter in fear and fright. Crushing commies beneath our shoes like tiny pests with nothing to lose. Crushing commies, our anthem strong. Stand united where we belong.
Oh, whoops, the Leo meter has made it to the screen. My mistake. Let me just remove that that meter. I don't know if you guys want to really see Leo. We haven't been getting too many donos in, but I understand that we have spent you guys have spent a lot to see him previously, but we will see. I will still keep the ransom amount at 50 for this stream. Of course, I gotta tease you guys. I can't spoil you with the disgenic creature every single stream, understandably. All right, so like I said earlier, I did want to dive into the USAID and where they're funding projects and where it has contributed towards and where it is going. And like I said, as we have, when I did a little bit of a dive into USAID, I was actually shocked and appalled, frankly, and quite disappointed about where our money is going. Once again, publicly funded, taxpayer dollars. But very disappointing, not surprising, considering where the previous administration was at ideologically and what has been going on there. I'm not surprised at where our money has been going with that. But I do see in the chat, before I go forward with this, I do see in the chat, here comes the money.
Here we go.
Robbie Thurman has gifted a sub. Thank you so much, Robbie Thurman. That is so generous of you. Thank you. Thank you for everyone that is tuning in. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the family. Someone wrote, oh yes, he gifted Aaron James 001 a sub. Yes, Aaron James, welcome to the Culturama and the For Liberty Network family. Okay, let me pull up these articles on USAID, everybody. Again, I don't know if it's pronounced correctly, USID or USAID, but I like to say USAID because they provide aid to other countries. Okay. So, hold on a second. Can you see this? I'm just making sure. Yes. Again, ignore the website. I know it's a bit cluttered, but they do provide very helpful information. By the Daily Mail, it says, quote, all the shocking ways USAID has spent all your money. Okay. Well, perhaps not all, but a good portion of it. The United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, was set up in 1961 to provide American money for aid overseas. But in recent years, it has used tens of millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars for some shocking expenditures. The agency has now been shuttered because Donald Trump and Elon Musk, God bless him for what they do right now, have found that the aid being doled out often does not accomplish core U.S. missions, like expanding education and improving infrastructure. You've got to basically get rid of the whole thing. It is beyond repair, Musk said of U.S. aid on Monday. Quote, "We're shutting it down." That's not, there we go. FBI, open up! Now Musk and officials at his Department of Government Efficiency are trying to dissolve the agency and roll it into the State Department, an idea that the Tesla CEO says Trump is on board with. Okay, so they want to completely dissolve it and then roll it into under the purview of Marco Rubio. Rubio announced Monday that he is now the acting director of USAID. There you go. So little Rubio is proving himself. Okay, well, let's look at all these programs. What did USAID actually accomplish? They're supposed to pool in the money towards humanitarian projects in third world countries overseas, also in setting up democratic systems in other countries and hopefully making countries more efficient in what they do, more healthy, provide more health services for them, and make sure that people aren't just dying across seas. Because that's, at least the theory is that that's how the United States reclaims and maintains soft power, especially over other countries, and perhaps make allies of them. It's difficult to retain soft power when people in your own country are suffering, but I digress. Let's continue forward. What programs did USAID actually fund across seas? Do they build, as you can see, we already have a lot to cover here, but do they build wells? Do they help in, funding some, perhaps efficient food production services, clean restrooms, bathrooms, again, third world countries where things are just falling apart. Well, maybe that's what they used to do, but apparently there are more important things to do now. For instance, HIV research about transgenders. Okay. The WITS Health Consortium, a South African research facility that studies the transmission of HIV among sex workers and transgender people, has received, by the way, $30 million taxpayer dollars from USAID since 2018. Okay? The South African research firm was awarded and this one says $38 million in total, so anywhere from $30 to $38 million in total. It says here the final $8 million, which has yet to be allocated, may be slashed under Trump's foreign aid review. The HIV epidemic control in South Africa pivots on a success of providing appropriate services for key populations, including sex workers. We're still going with that term, sex workers, huh? Because it's legitimate work. Their clients, by the way, and transgender or TG people, is that an abbreviation that we popularly use to designate transgender individuals? I did not know that. But anyway, interesting how they pulled in transgender people with this, almost as though transgenders in South Africa are being treated at the same level as sex workers and their clients. According to the federal receipts, the award was made to develop a, quote, model of provision and of accessible clinical interventions for sex workers. Okay, so South Africa, prostitution, that's where money has gone. Okay, number 2. Really good start. Millions to the COVID lab in China. I saw someone in the comments where I talk about this. There is a Wuhan connection. Indeed, there is. The White Coast Waste Project, an anti-animal experimentation group, has also uncovered that USAID funded, again, $38 million worth of grants that ended up going towards the same lab where COVID-19 is believed to have originated from, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Bingo! Okay, next. Serbian LGBT group. All right, another big ticket item that no longer will receive U.S. funding is a pro-LGBTQ organization in Serbia, of all places, called, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, it's called Grupa Izaji. Grupa, I'm assuming means group. Grupa Izaji, which in English translate to group come out. I was right. Grupa, literally right there. This NGO received $1.5 million from the Biden administration to advance, quote, diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia workplaces and business communities by promoting economic empowerment of and opportunity of LGBTQIA plus people in Serbia. Do not forget the 2A as well. According to the grant, the Serbian group will, quote, foster an environment that increases employment potential for LGBTQIA plus persons, expands opportunities for the LGBTQIA plus entrepreneurs, and reduces workplace discrimination. So obviously Serbia is suffering quite a bit from the plight being held against the LGBTQIA plus community in the workplace. Beautiful, very beautiful. Thank you, group coming out, for your service. Okay, moving on. Electric vehicles in Vietnam. This one at least doesn't have to deal with sex work or degeneracy. But still, I don't know if this is where our money should be going. Another costly foreign aid package approved under Joe Biden's administration awarded $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam. Since the huge investment of U.S. taxpayer dollars, there have been only one battery station built, avoiding a total of 260 gallons of gas, according to the USAID website. Okay. TransCare Clinics, by the way. An agency also helped open a TransCare Clinic, an operation established to, quote, address ongoing gaps in transgender healthcare across Vietnam. So, okay, we're back to Vietnam. I thought Vietnam was at least, just a place where we dumped electric vehicles in. It turns out we also are pushing the trans agenda there as well. Okay, LGBTQ initiatives globally, just all over the globe. Rainbowify everything. The USAID established in 2023 that the LGBTQIA plus policy to help advance non-heterosexual objectives around the globe. The policy, quote, advances USAID's commitment to supporting protection, inclusion, and human rights for all so that LGBTQIA plus, I'm really tired of saying that, individuals are able to live with the dignity and free from all forms of violence, discrimination, stigma, and criminalization, a memo announcing the program declared. Really a mouthful of alphabet soup. I'm going to try to be nice and keep saying it. Beyond USAID, other taxpayer-funded initiatives have also cut the eyes of GOP lawmakers eager to cut necessary programs for undeserving recipients from federal aid programs. There's more. There's more. I know you think this is the worst of it. There is more, everybody. Operas in Colombia. Okay, the State Department's Bureau of the Western Hemisphere Affairs approved $25,000 for an opera in Colombia. I wonder if President Petro appreciated that. In order to increase transgender representation in the arts. He probably did. For those that are unaware, President of Colombia, Petro, is rumored to be dating a transgender individual. So maybe he has enjoyed some of that. Okay, Peruvian trans comic books. This is the one I was talking about earlier. The Peruvian trans comic book program received over $32,000 under former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, according to federal documents. Mast said, "Let's see. There was a transgender comic book. We're trying to get our hands on the actual book in Peru. All I heard, and I've heard it's reasonably risque. So we have paid our money towards publishing a comic book in Peru with a transgender character in it. We have yet to see it. Yes, very legitimate practices. Very legitimate practices being done. Can I at least see the comic book? Okay, I get it. We already wasted our money doing this. Can I at least look at the comic book? Can I see what my money has accomplished in Peru? And are the people of Peru happy with the final product? Is it like a superhero comic book, or is it one of those non-exciting ones? Okay, lastly, and perhaps most insidious, efforts to expand atheism abroad. Mast has also described how the U.S. has spent over $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal. I've seen an earlier post about this on Twitter. I unfortunately did not save it, but I do not know specifically how this is being done. So don't quote me on reading this out. But I would not be surprised if they are indeed funding propaganda campaigns to, quote, expand atheism or, you know, atheist convictions, I guess you could say. So, yes, very well spent, the money. Wonderful. Here is a big ticket item. It says here, that no longer will receive U.S. funding, an LGBT group in Serbia. This is the Serbian group that we were talking about. Gosh. You would think in these countries, this is what I mean, okay? It's one thing to say that, you know, they're trying to promote services, to, you know, trying to promote humanitarian aid, services that are meant to facilitate comfortability of your fellow man. But all I'm seeing here is just pushing an agenda to essentially spread not only misinformation about the human condition, but also confusion, utmost confusion, and the deconstruction that we have already been experiencing in America and in broader Western society. And they are basically importing that confusion and deconstruction into other countries. And these third world nations are also now, that you could even argue, have some modicum of traditionalism. That's also being taken away from them. And they are also expanding and promoting atheism in countries, which just goes to show that an organization like USAID should not only just be taken, not taken seriously, but it is also an organization that should be treated as the enemy. Because that's what it is. It is doing things and promoting projects and programs that are meant to destabilize nations, confuse peoples of those nations, and essentially ruin those countries and the cultures of those countries and the peoples of those countries. And once again, this is all being supplied by and financed by our taxpayer dollars. Mr. Pig wrote, "It is a piggy bank of global homo." Bazinga, exactly, it is. Rubio is stepping up, however. Rubio says that he's an acting director of USAID as a humanitarian agency is taken over by the State Department. My apologies for not being able to read today. But Marco Rubio is stepping up, and he is proving himself on the stage of the world. I'll just read this briefly. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced yesterday, that he is acting as an administrator of the USAID, confirming the de facto takeover of the humanitarian agency by the Department of State. Thank God that the Trump administration is starving this out, because for too long has this financial bloat, has been not only ruining nations across the world, but it is a scourge on the identity of Americanism, and it's frankly making Americans look bad in the international stage. And it's no wonder that I think that international key players, for instance, like Putin during the previous administration, did not take us so seriously, okay? And because, you know, when you are importing, as this commenter has said in my chat here, globo homo, it's very difficult to take us seriously as a nation. And thank God that Trump won to push back against that. Rubio said in a letter to lawmakers Monday that he has delegated authority to Pete Marocco, a Trump appointee who has served at USAID in the president's first term and has been accused by aid groups and officials of intentionally dismantling the organization. Based, am I right? Morocco, who is also serving as the State Department's head of foreign assistance, drafted the directive to freeze almost all foreign aid. One aid official said that Morocco, quote, knows how the system works and is dismantling it at every term. Holy based. And for all the libertarians that are watching my show, here is a video from Uncle Ron Paul telling us about his opinion of U.S. aid.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Audit USAID, then shut it down.
Am I just saying it incorrectly? Everyone calls it USAID. I just call it USAID. I think that makes more sense. They provide aid. I guess I'm in the wrong here. I'm sorry, you guys. I've been spreading misinformation on my show. Everyone calls it USAID. Okay, USAID. I like USAID more.
When you attempt to access the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID website or social media pages, you are informed that this site can't be reached. The media reports that the new Trump administration has not only frozen USAID activities, but may be planning on bringing it back under control of the U.S. State Department.
Thank you, Steelbringer. Thank you that at least there's one person out there that calls it USAID as well.
Other reports, including statements by Elon Musk, suggest that it will be closed completely. If true, the closing of USAID may be one of the most significant changes President Trump has made among the many dramatic actions in his first couple of weeks in office. Many Americans may still have the idea that USAID is a government agency delivering relief at disaster site overseas. They may still remember the bags of rice or grain with the USAID logo on them.
Yeah.
That is not USAID. USAID is a key component of the U.S. government's regime change operations worldwide.
Exactly.
USAID spends billions of dollars every year propping up NGOs overseas that function as shadow governments, eating away at elected governments that the U.S. interventionists want to overthrow.
Interventionism, exactly. It's just facilitating. It's just facilitating the. There's a difference, I think, between what would be characterized as expansionism and interventionism, and essentially what U.S. aid has been doing is subversively undermining these countries. That is, I think, could be characterized as interventionism, is that, and it's wholeheartedly bad, because not only does it waste our money here at home, but it does clearly undermine and ruin the cultures and the peoples and the nations that are suffering under this. It's subversive, it's indirect, and it's making other countries dependent on us. And, you know, you could argue that this is just a form of power that the United States is wielding over other countries. But when we're doing it over third world nations, you know, particularly, I think that is perhaps kind of bad. Also, again, wastes our money here at home. And it's one thing you could say that it's the United States trying to reclaim soft power internationally. However, once again, we have people here at home that are significantly struggling financially. And I think it's just foolish to, again, contribute thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars towards transgender programs in peripheral nations. It makes no sense to me.
Overseas, you will see the fingerprints of USAID. From Ukraine to Georgia and far beyond, USAID is meddling in the internal affairs of foreign countries, something that would infuriate Americans if it was happening to us. When President Trump ordered a 90-day pause in USAID activities, we quickly learned just how pernicious the agency really is.
Indeed.
The U.S. media reported that Ukrainian press outlets were scrambling to keep their doors open when the U.S. dollar stopped flowing. It is reported that 90% of the media outlets are funded by the U.S. government. This means that there is virtually no independent media in Ukraine. Only fake news outlets willing to toe the U.S. administration's propaganda line. Does anyone think these wholly U.S.-funded news outlets would ever publish a story that the U.S. government did not want published? This is plainly immoral.
By the way, Nelson65, I see your comment.
Here we go. Money talk.
I hate to margin $65 for the $20 donation. We guys, by the way, just to let you know. No, not that one. There we go.
Monster
We are
kill.
$30 closer to unleashing the beast.
Monster kill.
If we get $20 more, I will unleash the beast, everyone, okay? $50 ransom. But if I get $20 more, I will unleash my dysgenic creature. All right, let's read your comment, Nelson65. It isn't homo, it is insanity. Trans and all the other letters have nothing to do with homos. Plus, show us Leo, the Queen of Liberty. Are you referring to me as a Queen of Liberty or Leo, my dog, is a Queen of Liberty? Thank you so much, Nelson65. And yeah, I largely agree with you. It is insanity. Trans, genderism, and all the other letters have nothing to do with homos, I guess you could say. And they are trying, like I said, to import these. Frankly, these are foreign concepts that these people just haven't really heard of, and they are imbuing their culture with it. And like I've already said multiple times, it is going to completely undermine their culture. Thank you so much, Nelson65. Also, guys, let me know how much a gifted sub is, because I actually do not know. Can someone let me know? I will put that towards the Leo fund. But I do not know exactly. Someone please let me know, because I think I saw 2 people donate gifted subs today, and I just want to make sure that is totaled in correctly. Okay. Thank you, Nelson65. Okay. Well, while you guys are doing that, I need to finish this Rand Paul video. Someone just let me know in the chat how much a gifted sub is.
From battlefield news to casualties to the state of the Ukrainian military.
Oh my gosh.
The news from Ukraine is being written.
Oh my gosh. You guys, we're not gonna finish this Rand Paul video. Because we have just had another $20 donation.
Here we go. Money talk.
From Rohan. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much, Rowhouse. I can't believe it. You guys are incredible. Let me read. By the way, before I read your comment, Rowhouse, I just want to. We have reached the limit to unleash the beast. Leo will be coming out here shortly. I have to cut this portion of the show short about USAID to bring out the beast. Everybody. Okay, let me read your comment, Rowhouse. We have reached the $50 limit, everyone, and thank you for the clarification. Okay, it is $5 for a gifted sub. Thank you for letting me know, because I don't know why it's not showing me that on my end here. Thank you so much, Rowhouse, for the $20. Let me read your comment now. Okay. Unleash the Beast, Daniela. Were you originally a Ron Paul libertarian, and what is your view of Ron Paul now in retrospect? Yes, Rowhouse, I was previously, and I still am now. I very much do like Ron Paul libertarianism. I'm an anti-interventionist. I am a nationalist, and I believe that our funding should be used in the most efficient way possible to help our people here in our country. And everything that he is saying here in regards to U.S. aid and funding across seas, I completely agree with. I do believe in the United States. I do believe that the United States' role on the international stage is important. Of course, we have to keep up appearances and maintain positive alliances with other nations. So I'm not opposed to that necessarily. I'm not a complete isolationist. But I do believe, especially right now, that we should have a more nationalistic, we should take a more nationalistic approach to how we deal with certain issues here. Additionally, as far as our international relations strategy should go, I think we should take a more neo-realistic approach or a realism approach rather than the liberalism that we have been relying on for so long to engage in international communications and relations. So, but to answer your question, yes, I would consider myself more or less a Ron Paul libertarian. I do really like Ron Paul. Him and Rand Paul are two politicians that I actually like. Very rare. I don't often like any politicians. So, but thank you so much for your wonderful donation, Row House. You guys, we have done it. We have reached the Unleash the Beast. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a quick commercial break. I am going to get Leo on. I'm going to find an outfit for him, so you guys stay tuned. Be patient. I will be right back. I will bring my dog. We will continue on with the stories, and I will be showing and revealing new merchandise and new Unleash the Beast merchandise on the shop. So all of you can have your own individual Leo at home. What do I mean by that? Stay tuned, and I will show you. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll get my dog out. You guys earned it.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah. Who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hayford doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling.
Well, here comes Daniela like Marilyn with a twist. She's got a master's degree and a style you can't resist. On Culturama, baby, we're shaking up the scene. So hit that like, make it click, you know what we mean. Like and subscribe, come on, don't delay. With Daniela at the helm, we're leading the way. It's Culturama, taking back tomorrow today.
You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors.
Mao ordered his citizens to throw off the four olds. Old thinking, old culture, old customs, and old habits. So, your whole life went in the garbage overnight, no biggie. And those who resisted were attacked by an army of purifiers called the Red Guard, who went around the country putting dunce caps on people. Yeah, who didn't take to being a new kind of mortal being.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race, or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted.
Well, things haven't been so sweet for Ben & Jerry's after the company posted an anti-American tweet, a few of them, on the 4th of July. The ice cream makers declared the United States was founded on stolen indigenous land.
Well, someone should tell Target that, because they're now selling swimsuits with tuckums in the women's section of the store. And they even have a line just for kids.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to Ben & Jerry's and ask them how they can live with themselves as they operate a multi-billion-dollar company on stolen land while declaring other people give up their so-called stolen land.
This is the child section. This is literally the kids section. I'm next to a literal onesie that says whatever the hell that means. We have glad you came out, and I'm so happy that you're queer. In the kids section. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but pride and toddler don't belong in the same sentence.
Good news! Starbucks will offer its workers reimbursement of travel expenses related to accessing abortion and gender-affirming procedures.
Kyle Rittenhouse was seen wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and they wanted to distance themselves from that individual. Key employees at the company also were donating to Democrats. Hayford doubled down on throwing many in his base under the bus, describing them as racist and a repugnant group of people.
Hey, Liberty lovers, stop scrolling, because if you're tired of the same old news, then I've got just the wake-up call for you. I want to thank you for tuning in to Culturama, and I know that you're enjoying every minute of it. Join us at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. The Wake Up America show is Mondays through
Monster Kill. Monster Kill. Monster Kill.
Okay, everyone. Oh, let me take the Leo meter off here. I apologize for the extra long commercial because Leo was being a little rambunctious, but here we go. We have Leo.
You run so fast. With your goofy little bar. Always having the blast. When you dance on your paws like you're on a spree. Chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me. My time is very fresh. You light up my day. In your 1950 style, let's dance and play.
Let me get his hat on here, Leo. There you go, my boy. Okay. Of course, we have the hat.
Oh, my little chihuahua. You run so fast. With your goofy little bar. Always having a blast. When you like you're on a spree. Chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me. My tiny furry friend. You light up my day. In your
he is. And people are going crazy in the chat. He is a model, Daniela writes, Rowhouse. I agree, Rowhouse. He is. He is a very good-looking young older gentleman. But yes, for those that are new here, this is my dysgenic dog. To remind you, he has 4 generations inbred. He has an extra toe. He is missing a good portion of his teeth. And he is, by all things considered, a freak of nature and also a miracle of nature. So this is the dog that you guys paid. Whoa, I almost dropped him. That you guys paid for. Here he is. Okay, and he loves to be part of the show, and part of the segment here is I let Leo sit with us for as long as he can to read the articles that we have been reading and covering some of the news stories that we are covering in here. And I also like to ask Leo, what are his opinions on the current topic, on the current thing? So I'm going to be asking him that right now. Leo, I have a question for you. The audience is watching. Oh gosh, his paw is stuck. Okay. He's like 14 pounds, by the way. So, Leo, what is your opinion on the U.S. aid situation? Do you support Musk in defunding it, or the Trump administration in seeking to defund it and going under the purview of Marco Rubio? Do you think that USAID has been abusing their position in undermining other peripheral nations? Or do you think that what they were doing in the humanitarian cause internationally is a good thing? Please tell us all your thoughts on this. A man of many words. Thank you, Leo. Thank you so much for telling the audience that. What do you guys think of that? Obviously, all very educated viewpoints. Leo, of course, is a major critic of USAID. So, anyways, I also wanted to tell you guys this, is that if we manage to get Leo out, what I also wanted to do is to show you the Leo merch that has just come out. So let me pull that up for you guys. So, hold on a second. I promised you I'd show you the merch. So I gotta show you the merch. All right, here we go. Everyone feast your eyes on this. If you go to ap4libertyshop.com, once again, that is ap4libertyshop.com, or the 4libertyshop.com. If you search on here, Culturama Collection, okay? You go under all collections and you look up my face right here with the communist space zombies. You will go to the Culturama Grift Shop or the Culturama Collection. You scroll down and here we go. Everyone can have their own. You guys asked and we delivered on the For Liberty Network. We have a Leo the Beast pillow. Okay, I know that. Okay. I've heard that people were talking about this, and I've had my audience say, Daniela, when are we going to have Unleash the Beast merch? We want Unleash the Beast merch. We want Leo merch. I will buy Leo merch. I don't want to look at your coffee. I don't want to look at your mugs. I don't want to look at your candles. I want Leo merch, okay? So you guys cried for that. We delivered. We have the Leo the Beast pillow. And I know a few people have been asking King for a pillow. They have had a hankering for it. Here it is, everyone. Leo, what do you think of that? This is your face on a pillow. And as you can see, he is a bit angry in the pillow because he is a beast. So you can have your own Leo right here. You want this at home? You want a conversation starter? You can get that right here just for $37.55. Of course, if you go on the website, there is always a chance to win a discount, okay? So if you go in the corner here, if you click spin to win, you can spin this and you will get up to 20% off on your purchase. So, if you think the price is a little high, first of all, the price is high because it's a Leo pillow, okay? But it's a very rare item, but you can also get a discount. You always can when you enter the ap4libertyshop.com. Here's a pillow. It comes in, let's see here. It comes in 3 sizes. It's going to be a little extra, but these are the sizes. And let me read the description for you guys because I got a kick out of this. Product details. Get ready to cuddle up with Leo the Beast, the fiercest, funniest, and most adorably unhinged pillow you will ever own. You will, whether you need a loyal couch companion, an office mascot, or just a hilarious conversation starter, this custom-shaped pillow delivers maximum softness for personality in equal measure. So here's some stats. It is available in small, medium, or large. Small is sitting at 10 inches, medium 16 inches, and large at 22 inches. Choose your level of beastliness.
Monster kill.
And then thickness is 3 to 5 inches for peak plumpness. I believe it is very similar to the Culturama Atomic logo pillow right here, like I have right here. I have yet to get a Leo the Beast pillow. Okay. Proudly made in the USA, and it's printed on one side, crisp white on the other. You only get one Leo face per pillow. And please buy while supplies last. This is limited. This will not be limited item. Everyone will not be around forever. So this is your moment to have your very own Leo the Beast pillow.
Oh, my little chihuahua, you run so fast. With your goofy little bark, always having a blast. When you dance on your paws like you're on a string.
Oh boy, you guys.
Chasing your tail. Oh, what joy you bring me, my tiny furry friend. You light up my day.
Moving on. Also, we did have new merch drops on the Grift shop, so let me just show you those very briefly. Gulf of America merchandise has been selling fast on the forlibertyshop.com, and we have ours. If you want to buy a Gulf of America pillow, candle, fanny pack for when you go vacationing, a hat, buy them in the Culturama collection right here, and that will help me out a ton. So we also have the Gulf of America items. And we have slides right here, pillow, of course, the Gulf of America stuff selling fast. And also we have the JD Vance I Don't Care Martha t-shirt. Where is it? Here we go. I don't really care Margaret. My mistake. I don't really care Margaret, the JD Vance shirt. And it comes in various colors, in antique cherry red, dark heather, sapphire pink. So you can get that as well and support JD Vance in the process here. Okay. Well, you guys got what you asked for. And I'm glad you are enjoying him and feasting your eyes on him. Okay. Alrighty. Yes. It is true. Leo does have a brother that lives with us. He has mental issues. I may bring him out, though, at some point. By the way, for Leo lore, for some of you that don't know, Leo does have an adopted brother, not a real brother. But that one will be a $70 donation. Okay, let's proceed on with the topics. We were talking about U.S. aid. Oh, whoops. So I wanted to continue on talking about that here. Okay, like I said, the establishment is losing their minds completely over this, particularly the Democrat establishment and the Democratic Party. And they are saying that this is completely, never been done before, and it's going to wreak havoc, not only for the United States, but for the international community as well. Here we have a Democrat representative, Andy Kim, say, quote, if we allow this to happen to U.S. aid, it's going to start happening in other departments and agencies. Oh my gosh, how horrible. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I guarantee you it's not the last. And so this same playbook, USAID was the first, but I can guarantee you it's not the last. And so this same playbook that they're using in terms of how they're trying to shut this down, how they're trying to prevent public servants from working and doing the work of our country, if we allow this to happen, it's going to just start to happen at other departments and agencies. So this is likely just the tip of the iceberg. USAID was the first, but
I hope it's the tip of the iceberg. That's kind of the point. Here we have Ilhan Omar, also upset. Let's listen to what she has to say.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump
No, all of a sudden they care about the Constitution. Very interesting.
to be a dictator on day one, and here we are.
Yes,
This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole...
When you gut the Constitution?
That is how dictators are made.
How does that exactly work?
It's really, really a sad day in America. We are...
Oh my gosh, I cannot stand her. Can I just say I cannot stand this individual? I know I'm not the only one, but even just by the way she talks. So yes, obviously the establishment not too happy about what's going on here. Someone wrote to port her and her dad, Steelbringer. Oh, you guys are so cutthroat. But yeah, I mean, what was the point I was trying to make here? The establishment is really losing their grip on power. And I've said this in previous streams, in that this is for the first time, perhaps in a long time, at least definitely in a long time for them individually. But I'm talking about even previous congressionals and other decision makers within the bureaucracy as well, is that this is the first time that they are really being put in a position where they could lose their control over the American people. And when you take someone's control away, someone that loves that control, has thrived off of that control for, like I said, multiple generations, that is when they're going to start lashing out. And these people are scared. Not only are they scared that they are going to lose that control, but they are also scared, perhaps, that certain things will be revealed. Already it has been revealed how they're essentially wasting our money away. But I think there is more underhanded and potentially criminal activities that these people are engaging in that they do not want us, the American public, to know. So time will only tell what DOGE will be able to accomplish and what secrets they will continue to reveal. But so far, I am extremely happy, actually, with what DOGE and Musk and his team of nerds were able to accomplish. I'm going to be honest, I had little doubts on Musk and what he was capable of doing, but I think he's really putting in good work towards this project, and good work in facilitating the integrity of the nation and also the faith that the American people have in their leadership. It's hard now, but it is necessary. It is necessary to go through these growing pains and reach a certain level of transparency so that the American public can obtain that integrity once again. Leo, are you okay? Hold on. The integrity and trust is what I meant to say. Let me take off his, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to take off his pizza collar because he was acting a little fidgety there. Are you okay, buddy? Okay. He just ate, so he should be pretty happy now. All right. Let me pull up the next few articles here because I also wanted to touch on Mexico. The Mexico question for you guys. And I won't go to commercial break because I was just on commercial break quite a bit. And we are reaching the 7 p.m. mark, but it's Tuesday, so I can stay a little longer. And I'm sure you guys won't mind that. So, but during the downtime, I do encourage you to go in the Culturama shop and perhaps maybe even, if you're feeling a little frisky here, buy yourself a Leo pillow. Okay, let me pull up these stories. Oh my gosh, Row House. Row House. Row House. You have outdone yourself today. Please just donated $5 to the stream. Thank you so much, Row House. Let me read your comment here. You are incredible, Row House. He wrote, sorry to jump the gun on this, but Daniela, is Trump doing this a concern? This has a 30-second clip to play. Let me see what this is, Row House. Give me a second. I am juggling a lot of plates right now, so let me open this up. Yes. President Trump securing peace in Gaza. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexplored bombs and dangerous weapons on the site. Okay, Row House, I will touch on this in a second here. Let me first pull up all my articles, and I will do that for you. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, Row House. You are very appreciated here. Okay. I pulled it all up. Let's play it, Row House. Let's do it. Okay. So let's take a listen. But like I just read, Trump stated that the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. So let's listen to what he has to say about this.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip.
I can see why some people would be concerned about this. I ideally do not want Trump to maintain certain connections or allyship with various countries, especially as it relates to the Middle East. Unfortunately, this may have to be right now a very this endeavor does have to be sought after, especially maintaining positive relations with Israel. In order to, for instance, fight Islamic fundamentalism in the area and possibly terrorist activity and violent activity in the area. So, but I can certainly understand people's concerns having to do with maintaining particular relations in that area. But I think right now, this move, albeit it can be somewhat concerning, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I do think that it is at least pragmatic right now in order to clean out that area, especially of certain bad actors as well. And I am also sure that there are other operations that are happening there that we aren't aware of that, leads into, that may require some U.S. intervention. I'm not too happy about that. But anyway, I'm just reading your guys' comments. I'm sorry. So anyway, that's to answer my question for Euro House for the $5 donation. Again, thank you. But anyways, so speaking of international relations again, a lot of this show has been about that. I wanted to touch on this story. Six Flags Magic Gaza, writes Aaron James 001. Yes, we should make a theme park there and make it the theme of America. Okay, Leo, how you feeling, buddy? Okay, Leo's gonna read this article with me by the Daily Signal, and it's about Mexico and Canada. As you guys are aware, Trump was ready to engage in a trade war, a tariff war with Mexico and Canada as it relates to securing the borders up north as well as down south. And initially, the leaders of those countries did not want to concede and provide extended border security in those areas. But in response, Donald Trump would impose severely high tariffs. And so, of course, Mexico had retaliated almost immediately, but I think Sheinbaum, however you pronounce her name, President of Mexico, quickly realized that Mexico would not win. In fact, they would severely lose in a trade war with the United States. But let me read this article to you, because Trump has used and utilized and applied a very novel legal theory, as this article says here, in order to compel Mexico and Canada to concede. Okay, by using the threat of tariffs to pressure Canada and Mexico to pledge to stop the flow of fentanyl into the United States, as well as to secure the borders down south and up north, President Trump pursued a novel legal theory. He declared an emergency and then used his emergency authority to threaten to impose tariffs to get our neighbors to comply with his border enforcement and economic policies. Trump bypassed the typical avenues of tariff policy and instead used this 1977 act called the 1977 International Economic Powers Act to declare the emergency, and justify his tariff threats. Okay? The act has been used by various presidents since the 70s to respond to threats such as the Iran hostage crisis, the international drug trade, and the rise of the Chinese social media app known as TikTok. But presidents have only used it to freeze transactions or seize properties, never to implement broad tariffs. So Trump is, of course, utilizing his skills here in not only negotiation, but also just, I think, business dealings in general, and using a novel approach into this application of this act in order to get this thing done. But why use the act to implement tariffs when there are other methods available? While the president does have authority to implement tariffs under other acts, such as a Trade Act or the Tariff Act, these all require the president to consult his cabinet and federal agencies, which, as we all know, Trump may not want to do as of right now. It is a time and consuming process when Trump is in a hurry to fulfill his campaign promises. Trump has set the gears in motion for tariffs on his very first day in office, issuing the America First Trade Policy memo, which called on the Secretary of Treasury as well as the United States Trade Representative to, quote, investigate the causes of America's trade deficits. Heritage Foundation economic analyst Andrew Hale told the Daily Signal, where this article is from, that Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to declare fentanyl trafficking emergency is a first in American history. Okay? The word tariff does not appear on the IEEPA. It is not in the legislation, and it has never been used to weaponize tariffs against friend or foe ever before. So there's really no precedent. However, it seems to have worked. And as a result, it appears that the Mexican president as well as Canadian prime minister have indeed conceded. And here is, I just pulled this up here under congress.gov to show, to show you the act. The International Emergency Powers Act, we'll read this together. The International Emergency Economic Powers Act, also known as the IEEPA, codified presidential national emergency powers to investigate and impose controls on the transactions as well as freeze foreign assets under the jurisdiction of the United States. So this is the act that he is invoking right now in order to apply these tariffs. And again, like this article has stated, and like the analyst from Heritage Foundation has explained, is that Trump is using a very, very novel, or is utilizing this act and applying it in a very novel way. It is a first in American history that he is doing this. And that just goes to show the lengths at which Donald Trump will go in order to fulfill his mission and objectives. And I've asked this question before in my stream, and I'll ask it again. What are they teaching these students in international relations classes? Because they always teach these people that there is a certain way and certain avenues that you should accomplish your objectives internationally. But very often what you will find in these courses, and particularly in political science, is that they actually do not reward you or incentivize you to think outside the box, especially as it pertains to international politics. If anything, if you entertain different ideas of how to engage in international politics, you will be heavily reprimanded. And, if you go anything out of the neoliberal order of how to interact with these other countries, you will be heavily reprimanded. But then you need someone like Trump to just step in and say, how about no? How about we actually get something done? And if that means applying law and legal theory in a novel way once in a while, that's actually a good thing. And that's okay to be a little different. And, it's okay to get stuff done in order to strengthen your country. Actually, you don't have to fall under the neoliberal established world order to get things done every single time. You can actually be a strong leader, believe it or not. Anyway, let's play this. This was Mexico's president response or initial response to Trump's tariff threat. Since then, she's backpedaled. Let's listen to this.
Buenos días a todos, a todas. Siempre vamos a mantener el diálogo. Es fundamental.
By the way,
la relación entre México.
Does this not have... I thought this had subtitles. Please tell me this has subtitles. Does this one not even have... I had one with subtitles and now it's not here. No, here it is. It's just in the bottom. By the way, very difficult to find a video with just it being dubbed over.
Buenos días a todos, a todas. Siempre vamos a mantener el diálogo. Es fundamental en la relación entre México y el gobierno de los Estados Unidos. Y ahí está.
The subtitles are in the bottom there, but she's saying that she's, of course, open to dialogue.
Para lo que decida el gobierno de los Estados Unidos. Ahora es muy importante que sepa el pueblo de México que siempre vamos a defender.
So she says that they will always defend the dignity of her people of Mexico. And that's what I find very interesting about this president, because I understand initially she coming out and wanting to have a very strong stance against Trump. Of course, if you're a leader of a nation, you know, and you're representing a nation, of course you want to, how do I say this? Just maintain appearances, especially if you're being viewed from around the world on an international stage. So she wants to appear strong. And I understand the vexing position that she's in. However, after, I'm sure, with a phone call with Trump and actually, you know, thinking about it for like more than perhaps 30 seconds, she's come to realize that, well, you know, maybe engaging in a trade war with the United States isn't the wisest decision. Maybe that would actually burn my country down to the ground, because we cannot outperform, nor can we compete with perhaps one of the most strongest and vital and economically prosperous countries in the world. So yeah, like I said, Sheinbaum, or Claudia Sheinbaum, had initially wanted to engage with us, and she wanted to throw tariffs back at us, but or import tariffs back at us, and it didn't seem to have stuck. She had realized that she cannot engage with us in the same way. I'm not going to play the rest of this video because I just realized that my audience... Not only do you guys not know how to read Spanish, I don't want to force you to read subtitles, but this article will summarize the rest of the story. Trump pauses tariffs on Canada imports for 30 days after doing the same for Mexico. So the same has been done for Canada as well. Womp womp. President Trump on Monday agreed to pause the implementation of planned U.S. tariffs on imports from Canada for at least 30 days, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said. The pause was announced in a tweet by Trudeau hours after Trump and Mexico's president. Why didn't they just write Sheinbaum? Said Trump would pause for 1 month planned tariffs and imports on Mexico. In both cases, the pauses came after those countries agreed to take steps towards preventing and trafficking the deadly opioid fentanyl into the U.S. Trump on Saturday, over the weekend, said that he would impose 25% on tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada and 10% imported from China. Trump has also planned to impose a 10% tariff on energy resources from Canada. Trudeau said over the weekend he warned that his country would implement a 25% tariff back against $155 billion in U.S. goods in retaliation for Trump's tariffs. But following afterwards, on Monday, just a day after, Trudeau wrote, I just had a call with President Trump. Trudeau said that Canada will make new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. Canada's implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel. So like it only took one phone call, you guys. It only took one phone call. And Trudeau had folded. Here's a tweet that I just read off to you. But yeah, he writes, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada's implementing our $1.3 billion border plan. We're going to reinforce the border. In addition, Canada is making commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensuring 24/7 eyes on the border. I don't know, I feel like this is imbued with sadness, this tweet. I mean, it's good for us, and you know, good for Canada, but not the proudest moment for Justin Trudeau. He's already going to step down, and he's already coming off extremely weak here, as well as Claudia Sheinbaum. So this is where we're at. So this is another tweet from Libs of TikTok. Great place for news, of course, saying that Canada has caved. They will pause their proposed tariffs for 30 days and implement $1.3 billion towards a border plan that will, in effect, strengthen the border. There he is. Strongest Leader Award goes to not this guy, obviously. So that's the situation at the border. Just to summarize, I know that you guys have probably already heard all about it. But yes, like Aaron James was saying in the chat here, everyone is bending the knee to Trump. Trump is coming in hot and heavy, you guys, and he is strong. He is not going to take any losses. It was a risky move to oppose his tariffs. Of course, things would become a little bit more expensive here, but it all worked out for our benefit and for Trump's benefit. And I don't know, I think he's shaping up to be a pretty strong guy here. Okay, Trudeau is a classy lady. Yes, Aaron James. Stories here, but I do very much appreciate Trump's novel approach here to maintaining American integrity and legitimacy. Okay, I have a few more lighter stories for you guys, and let's back off the crazy Well, actually, I can't back off crazy politics quite yet, because did you guys see these protests that were going on? I want to cover the protests here. Like, for instance, there are of course, you know, the protesters. People are protesting what's happening with the deportations, and we all covered those as well. But last night there was protests happening outside of NYU Hospital in New York City after President Trump blocked them from giving puberty blockers to multiple children. Okay, so people are losing their minds that we cannot mutilate and or chemically castrate children.
We have their back.
Leo.
One more chant I'd like you to do with me.
Okay.
When children's lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When trans lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Trans lives are under attack. Oh, geez. I'm going to be covering this and more. You guys stay tuned. I am going to quickly get some more coffee, some more Culturama Atomic Blonde coffee for me. You guys stay tuned, and I will be pulling up a plethora of videos to laugh at these, as what Aaron James is calling in the chat, pedophiles, but also the degenerate. I will be right back, everyone. Just stay tuned.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back the lefty throng. With the red banner held high, marching forward through the night. Promises of old will keep, as the donkeys start to weep. Stars and stripes forever sway, in the land of the brave we stay. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. with a flagpole planted firm.
Golden dreams that won't decay,
Marching proudly through the day. In the eagle's shadow by, we find our strength and take our pride. Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains all, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we stride in the light of freedom's guide. We got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down.
Times are changing, feel the buzzing, staying true when they're fussing. Keep the flag a-flying through stormy nights. With the star-spangled banner, I stand tall with manners. Cross my heart with hope in sight. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. Stick to values in the trends. Families gather, let's defend. Hold the line, keep the bond alive. Truth in our vision, in God we make decisions. For our dream, true, thrive and strive. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and prairie, with liberty. We'll keep fighting for what's right, standing strong in the night. Here comes freedom in the land of hope and bravery, with liberty.
Alrighty, we are back. Welcome to Culturama, everyone. So I have a lot of clips that I want to play with for you today, and I think you're really going to enjoy this, because we are going to make fun of the liberal elite that have been trying to control our lives for thus long, and here we are in the winning seat. So we have just watched the protesters in New York City, of course, protest the fact that they are actually not allowed to chemically castrate children any longer. Here's a picture of the protest, of course. You have the trans and gay flags going around. And here's another video. This person wrote, "I'm walking down to the trans activist protests in New York City, and it's taken only 30 seconds after leaving my car for people to start getting physical with me. There are about 1,500 child abusers in attendance tonight."
Little game.
Leo, stop.
What are you doing? Oh, I see. I see. We're playing a little game. Yeah.
Okay, doesn't look too bad so far.
I think it was 2020. Everyone's still wearing masks. No, my problem is the sterilization and mutilation of children, actually. Oh, okay. Good one.
That's not what's happening, actually. Then he ends the conversation there.
We got another one here. Look at this.
Leo, enough.
Gee, I wonder why. Do not stop in front of me. And they're already getting violent. This lady's pushing. Oh, here's another one.
So they're already engaging in a physical altercation somewhat. This doesn't seem too bad, though. But this guy's treading in dangerous waters. I feel like he's the only one here that has the viewpoints that he does. So he needs to be careful.
How dare you end access to life-saving care?
Life-saving care, that's what they're going to say, right? That's the lie that they keep asserting, is that this video wasn't that bad. But yeah, what he did was dangerous. They will claim that it's life-saving care, and that's the big lie that they have been spreading, and the big piece of misinformation that doctors have been spreading, and it's a form of medical malpractice, in that they will tell parents that not chemically castrating them, essentially, will incentivize their child to Minecraft themselves if they don't do so. Oh, what is this? Why is this not? Here we go. I don't know why I linked to this page. There was supposed to be a tweet here. But that's the thing that you'll always come across, is that doctors and psychologists will tell you that if you do not transition your child immediately, they will want to take their own lives. And no one really knows how true that is. In fact, it could very well not be true. That's just the gun that they proverbially point against the head of parents to get them to, dish out their money to obtain these pharmaceuticals. Anyway, Charlie Kirk has tweeted this. Strange, Hakeem Jeffries said that it was time to fight Trump's agenda in the streets, and sure enough, a few days later, they were coordinated protests of thousands of Mexican nationalists waving the Mexican flag and burning the American flag in the streets. Which NGOs organized these protests? Who funds them? Interesting point, Charlie Kirk. Hope that isn't too loud. But yes, clearly what we see, the hands in the cookie jar, so to speak. The NGOs, of course, as we are already aware, plenty of NGOs have facilitated and continually facilitate activities like these to undermine the integrity and the unity of the United States. Alas, it is not difficult to incite and to encourage, particularly leftists and the youth in large part of the United States, to engage in activities like this, utilizing especially places where propaganda can be utilized most effectively, places like TikTok, where I see them quite often discuss protests like these and make TikToks of it. But it's very easy to radicalize the youth in America. So I don't even think you need NGOs all that much to do things like this. But Charlie Kirk isn't wrong here. NGOs, nonprofits, the entire network that are involved in, funding, in fact, and inspiring protests like these, and as we have seen with, I strongly believe in the BLM riots as well, constantly trying to throw us into a state of disarray socially. Okay, here's another video. Anyone flying a Mexican flag at an anti-Trump protest is just proving our point. You don't support America, you shouldn't be in America. Here's another video. absolute madness, you guys. What are they even doing here in our country? Gosh, I can't. Like, no decorum, nothing to do with, I mean, again, I know this is a very tired point to make, but why do they reside in the States if they are unhappy here? I mean, clearly they are unhappy if they're going to wave flags like this and to protest our president. And I understand, you know, you do have freedom of speech. If you don't like something the president's doing, I understand they have every right to peaceably assemble, right? But when you are protesting against the leader of a nation that you live in for simply wanting to protect the nation from foreign entities and from criminal behaviors coming from other countries, it does beg the question, why is it that they live here? Very concerning behavior. Again, further, who funds this? Here's another video. This is what needs to happen at these anti-immigration protests, but the U.S. consider water cannons an excessive force. But yes, this is what needs to be done here. I don't know. I can understand people would say that this would be considered too violent. It can injure and hurt people. So, you know, on the one hand, certainly can see why this would be concerning and a problem. But on the other hand, when, again, I do want to reiterate, there is a massive problem of NGOs even funding these protests and creating a major state of disarray for our nation and our nation's peoples, you would start to think that maybe there is a reason in using force like this. And then we had this other video here. LAPD is taking action in Los Angeles ICE protests. What is this? Let's watch this. Guys, things are getting crazy out there. Trump obviously delivered all the promises that he has given us, but things are getting crazy out there, okay? This is a good picture, a good look at what is happening. And, you know, clearly some of us may... Lee, are you okay, buddy? He's getting eepy. Anyway, oh geez, what was I saying? Things are getting violent, and I really do foresee things getting even far more violent, unfortunately. And unless our people can, as Donald Trump said, stand back and stand by, you know, perhaps there is another aspect to this. Perhaps we can allow the people that are engaging in these behaviors to reveal themselves. We need to do background checks on them, not only whether or not to see if they're national, but to see what other entities they are involved in, what other parties, what political parties they're involved in, what groups. I would venture to say that a lot of these people are engaged in far more than you may think. I don't think these are just one-off protesters. I think that these people are heavily embedded and engaged in other activities and in other operations. Let's watch this video. Leo, cover your eyes, please. Do not look at the violence that is being experienced here. So yeah, this is ugly, obviously, and not very comfortable to witness. But it is refreshing to see essentially law enforcement actually take action. So this is very refreshing to see. Useful idiots wrote no entropy nomad in the chat. Exactly, entropy nomad. They are useful idiots. A lot of these people are easily radicalized, and you see people like this on both sides. You see the far right and the far left. They have people like this, where they are easily radicalized. They are very disenchanted with the present system. You know, they're still undergoing that process of being disenchanted, and they really think that they could do something in order to work against the system that we live in. But oftentimes they just get radicalized and used for multifarious purposes like this that will get them in jail. And that's very sad that that happens, but it does. And like I said, it happens on both sides of the aisle. So you have these hooligans basically, acting very questionable behavior, and look at that shove, bro. You don't usually see that. It's very refreshing to see that. Anyway, last one. This is looking more like a street takeover than a protest at this point. I can smell a lot of alcohol around that has been spilled, pot, kids doing really stupid stuff in cars, anti-ICE protest in Oregon, just south of where I live. So obviously very degenerate behavior here. Okay, perhaps it's not degenerate, but it leads to degeneracy when you have alcohol, weed, and anti-nationals protesting in the streets. In Oregon, mind you. I mean, Oregon's not even anywhere near the southern border. Is there perhaps a heavy Latino population? I actually wouldn't say so. I think Oregon is like one of the top 10 whitest states in the country. And still, you're going to have individuals wanting a piece of that pie. Whether it be for relevancy or just to stir up chaos, these people will find a way to get involved. Okay. Anyway, the stream looks like it's winding down, so I may wrap it up here, everyone. I did want to talk a little bit about human elite capital, however, because I don't know if you guys have seen this tweet. But it went a little viral yesterday. And it stirred a lot of conversation, okay? Are you guys ready for this? Oh, wait, I also wanted to pull this up. I'll talk about this first. Steelbringer writes, you still have 2 hours to go. Steelbringer, I don't know if I can do another 2 hours. Maybe. If I get more donations, that's a different story, but let me pull up this next story here. This isn't exactly a story, but it is a weird tweet I found at like 2 a.m. last night. Can someone please explain to me what this means? It is Elon Musk retweeting a picture of a shrimp on a treadmill, and the guy who had originally posted this simply wrote the acronym for "If you know, you know." And then Trump had retweeted this with a laughing, crying emoji. Can someone please explain to me what this means, okay? Because I was racking my brain, and maybe this is some kind of a meme that I am not initiated to know about, but can someone please explain what this means? I would love to know. I feel like other people are also just as concerned and or confused as I am. I just wanted to bring attention to that. However, the bigger question, and the question of aristocracy in America and what I deem as elite human capital is this tweet here. Did you guys see this tweet? Maybe you haven't. If you live in Twitter like I do, you have already heard of it. This tweet went viral because this individual, who is really a nobody, to be quite honest, I've never heard of her before, but she tweeted these two pictures. And she wrote, "Degens with an air of aristocracy." And people were laughing their, excuse my French, laughing their asses off. Because the first picture you can't quite tell, right? But the second picture, if you examine the picture further, you will come to see that it looks like They're not in the most luxurious of, let's just say, hotel rooms, perhaps. But there's like a little cheap table here. They have only the best beverages. They have yerba mate canned. They have Sprite and Coca-Cola. And, people are dressed in a very questionable attire in this room. And then if you zoom in on the picture here in the background, if you can see here, enhance image, goals, and under goals, it lists secure the bag as their number one thing. What do you guys think of this? Is this American aristocracy in action right here? A lot of people laughed at this image and it stirred the debate about what should be considered aristocracy in America, but this ain't it. You have the cheap, someone said like the cheap vinyl cabinets here, like this Home Depot decor, and this island. People are saying it's an island. I think it's just a table you can remove, but this kitchen island also not the most luxurious. I think it's worthy to mention because it does open up the conversation of what exactly is aristocracy in America. Of course, when you think of aristocracy in America, you think of like the Trump family or certain families of performers or celebrities. Not will you ordinarily think of a lower to middle income group of young people, which God bless them, by the way. I'm sure they work hard and they hustle. But rent out a room like this and then also dress in such luxurious attire, like as you can see, this man right here is dressed in. This individual here looks rather shocked. Is this elite human capital in the flesh, everyone? Also, look at this man over here. Beautiful. My man's has really turned up for this gathering. What are they celebrating, I wonder? Can someone answer the question for what the shrimp meant on the treadmill, please? Brandon J. Meyer wrote, it isn't even a $2,100 a month apartment. Exactly. Doesn't look like it. Aaron James, is this your answer to the shrimp on the treadmill? He wrote, the experiment was to examine if bacterial infection could change the anaerobic pathways. Are you being serious right now with me, Aaron? Oh my God. Yep, government subsidized the experiment. Shrimp on a treadmill, waste, fraud, abuse. You can't be serious, Aaron. Is this a real thing? Oh my God, it's real. NPR made an article about this. Hold on a second. Shrimp on a treadmill, the politics of silly studies. And they're just making light of this. You guys, this is real. I didn't know it. I didn't know this was real. Thank you, Aaron, for the clarification. Yeah, they put a shrimp on a treadmill. Biologist Lou Burnett was in a car when his cell phone rang recently. It was a CNN reporter asking about the fact that his research has been featured in a new report about wasteful government spending. Leo, let me take your jacket off. I know you're hot. Oh, wow, I didn't realize. Well, shows how much I know. Thank you for that clarification, Aaron. That is crazy. I did not realize that they actually wasted money on this. We have... Here comes the money! Ronnie,
here we go.
Thank you again for the gifted membership sub. Thank you so much. You guys have been just so generous today. That's awesome. I want to thank everyone that showed up in the chat today. It's getting rather hot in here. Let me turn down the temperature. Hold on a second. I'm getting a massive headache. That's why I had to turn that down. I'm sure Leo is also getting a headache as well. Yeah, but thank you everyone for joining the chat today and donating and getting the Unleash the Beast out here. I screamed and yelled on this stream, so I am getting a bit of a headache. But I do want to thank you, everyone that did come on and engage with me on this stream. If you guys want me to cover any additional stories before I log off, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I will probably be wrapping up the stream now. Bachelor Dino on YouTube, it's good to see you. Hero, if only they were studying whether cocaine made shrimp run faster on treadmills. Yes, I do wonder. I have a feeling to say that I think they would run faster. I think if you give any vertebrate or invertebrate any form of cocaine, they will operate in ways that are much faster than ordinary. Well, this has been quite the episode, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I think my dog is getting rather tired here. So what I'm going to do, hold on a second. I think I'm going to sign off. So.
In the heart they gather strong, pushing back.
Thank you so much for your generosity, everyone. It is so good to see such a wonderful audience and fan base of this show. I love the community that I've cultivated here on Culturama. I encourage everyone to keep following the show, keep following the updates, and take your part in reclaiming the zeitgeist in the United States. Have these conversations and share them with your friends and your family. I want to thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening. Leo and I will be signing off, but I hope you have a great rest of your evening and continue in the fight for the zeitgeist. Buy that Leo pillow if you want your very own dog here, just like Leo. But I hope you guys have a blessed evening, and I'll see you on Thursday's show. We will be having an interview as well, and I think you guys will enjoy it. So I will be signing off here, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Let the voices echo loud, tearing through the waiting crowd. We've got the power now, in the heart of every town. We've got the power now, the Reds are going down. Across the plains and mountains tall, hear the victory call. With courage and with might we strive, in the light of freedom's sky. We got the power now, in the heart of every town.